rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Call, we rally and war. For the coppers will settle our score. Populism fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first will. And stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Call, we rally and war. For the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first will. And stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Call, we rally and war. For the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first will. And stand, voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Call, we rally and war. For the coppers will settle our score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first will. rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle our shore. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes on the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Hear a call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle our shore. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes on the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The forever burns bright, unyielding and strong.
This bilateral relationship is good for the world. China and the United States both stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. We should be partners, not rivals. We should help each other succeed and prosper together and find the right way for major countries to get along well with each other in the new era. Mr. President, I look forward to our discussions on major issues important to our two countries and the world, and working together with you to set the course for and steer the giant ship of China-U.S. relations so as to make 2026 a historic
within our laws that you are not allowed to say, right? The freedom of speech does not extend to inciting violence or threatening the lives of specific individuals. That is not permissible.
We are outside of the office of District Attorney Larry Krasner right now. We are opposed to everything that he has stood for. We want to make something perfectly clear. Republicans are for legal immigration. We are not for illegal immigration. It is a big difference. When you got 76,000 unvetted illegal aliens in Philadelphia, that is a problem. 76,000, and that number is probably higher than that. That is the reason why our taxes keep going up. That is the reason why there's no affordable housing. That is the reason why the demand is high and the supply is short. And so when you get rid of these people, you will see a big change in Philadelphia. Right now, we want to thank Jim Jordan. We want to thank Congress for finally looking into the unlawful practices of Larry Krasner. He has done things to either lower their criminal, what they're accused of allegedly doing, or just so they can evade ICE. So we want to thank Congress for finally looking into that. We want to ask President Trump to get involved. We want to ask the Trump administration, the DOJ, to get involved. If you had to stop federal money from coming into Philadelphia, do what you have to do. This is what Trump ran on. We hope that he can come and lay the law down. Mayor Sherelle Parker, she likes to play with words. She says this is a welcoming city. She knows that's key words for this is a sanctuary city. And she plays with words because she still wants the federal dollars to keep coming in. This ICE out legislation is very dangerous. It's close to treasonous as you could possibly get. When you're telling the police officers that they cannot work with ICE to find out who are the dangerous criminals here, illegal aliens, that is an issue. when you're telling businesses, the independent contractors, the developers, that they cannot do business with the city if they work with ICE in any type way, and you're allowing the citizens to possibly sue them if they find out that they've been working with ICE, that is an issue. You are stopping. That's you. It can't get close to illegal. Is this? So we're asking, Congress continue doing what you're doing. We're asking President Trump to get involved, and we're asking the citizens of Philadelphia to speak up. If you're tired of your taxes going up, if you don't want this Uber tax, this Amazon tax, and all of the merit taxes you have heard us talk about, if you do not want any of this, you're going to have to get involved. You're going to have to come to city council meetings. You're going to have to speak up. You're going to have to come to these town halls. America first, Philadelphia first. This is what we stand for. I'm John Alante McCauley. I'm running for PA GOP State Committee for Congressional Districts 3 and 5. I ask for your vote on May 19th. Thank you.
Philly's waking up, baby. That's what we need. I'm trying to play clips from them every night because they're putting stuff out on X, and I absolutely love it. Again, tapping. That's what we need, to be tapping into that inner city. That vote is there. And the GOP had walked away from it for a long time, but it's about damn time we start to take it back. Because that's how we win this. That's how we end the corruption. We start to take over those areas that the Democrats have their tentacles into, and they think they can control, and they think they can control the elections from those cities. But if we go in and we suck it away from them with people like that, that's how we win it. All right. Tonight, we have the one and only Jacob from Beyond Detox. And Big Tony, I believe, will be joining us at some point. How you doing tonight, Jacob?
Doing good. How about you, Carl?
Oh, man, I'm living the dream, dude. I'm freaking exhausted. I'm not even going to lie. I just had the past 3 weeks have been just brutal. But it's what it is. Lots of coffee, lots of methylene blue, and that hydroxygen from beyonddetox.com/Killer Carl. That keeps me going.
Yeah, I got to say the methylene blue has been really doing a lot for me the last few weeks.
Yeah,
Parasite cleansing takes a lot out of you.
I can only imagine.
You remember those pictures that I showed you? The before and afters in like 2 weeks.
I do. You gotta pull them up at some point.
I will. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, I did a deep parasite cleanse, and I had some really interesting signs come up. Stuff that the medical system would say is like a lifelong condition that you'll never be able to get rid of. And I knocked it out in about 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm gonna have to do it before and after and show people on our channel. What do they know about health?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that would be an amazing. I want to have you on, I think, next week on the radio show, and maybe we could get into that a little bit with those pictures. I know it's a radio show, but it streams.
Well, you know what, Carl? I was actually going to ask you. We need to talk in private later. I wanted to do a night where I come on here and we focus on a conspiracy.
Yeah. Anytime you want.
A conspiracy of health, because we got to get into the fact that a lot of your the same stuff that happened with the since we're talking about oil crisis.
Yeah.
The same thing that happened to get medicine or people off of natural medicine and into pharmaceutical drugs. They also did the same thing to the farmers in Prohibition, because farmers were able to make their own alcohol and make their own fuel for their cars. And the same people that funded the rise of the pharmaceutical petroleums are the same ones who funded Prohibition and got people to get on gasoline rather than making their own alcohol for fuel.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. And they did it. They did it to the hemp industry.
Yeah.
They did it to the hemp industry because the hemp industry made the rope for all the Navy ships. Right? And
it's a really interesting
material.
We'll just say agricultural and industrial product.
Yep. And it was huge back in the day. A lot of people don't realize this. Hemp was huge back in the day. It was used for rope, clothes, all types of things, right?
Oh yeah,
And
everything the
you
last
had
100 years has been completely fabricated, fake, false.
Don't mind me. I'm outing a candle. My studio's not huge. My studio's not huge. And
you're reaching for one of your guitars.
No, it's not huge. And to those of you guys that don't know it, there was this cat that was out on my front porch, and she's been I've been feeding her for a long time, and she got pregnant, and she had her kittens last week, and she had them, and they were stillborn, right? So nobody knows why, but we got her fixed, and I brought her up to my studio. So she's my studio cat. So yes, I'm being that guy. I have a connection with the cat. I don't typically like cats, but this cat I actually like. So hoping to get some parasites from her because she's been out there feral. And then after I get the parasites, like maybe tapeworm or something, I'll lose some weight, and then I'll detox myself with Jacob's products. That's my diet plan, folks. I'm not saying it's a good one. I'm not saying it's a good diet plan, but I'm gonna, Now, I mean, I felt bad for her. I don't know. Like after getting her fixed, I can't just let her out on the streets because I didn't realize this. I was talking to Larry about this, Larry Barnett. Apparently, after cats give birth, they can get pregnant right away.
Right away.
And all the neighborhood cats were chasing her around. And I'm like, I can't have this, man. I can't have city. People don't realize this. When you live in a city, like people, move out of their apartments. There's townhouses that they turn into Section 8 apartments all over the place. And they try to bring them in, and they're moving them further towards the West End, right? all the old people that own their homes are dying, and kids don't want the property, so they sell it to somebody that flips houses from New Jersey, and they turn them into multi-units apartments, destroying neighborhoods, and ruining home ownership in small communities.
Yeah, it affects us too. We were living in a really nice community, and I was showing my wife, you got people that are moving out because they couldn't afford to stay here. They bought in, and they couldn't afford it for whatever reason. And so now we've got some of these big, beautiful, 5-bedroom houses with a nice lot. And then there's HUD, like a HUD sign in the yard.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh gosh, we do not need we don't need HUD, we don't need Section 8, but Section 8's coming out as far as where we live. And not only that, you're seeing some of the houses out here are for rent. And so I was having to explain, to my wife, it's like, this is not good.
No.
BlackRock, or not BlackRock, but
BlackRock.
The whole thing of private equity buying houses where you can't afford that American dream is important. And to people who come from other nations where they really don't have property, or from third world where the concept of private property is not either achievable, but it's definitely not it's not cared about.
Yeah.
People look at it like, why should you care? And so having to kind of explain that you need to buy a house, you need to own a house, you don't need to rent. I mean, I understand there's circumstances people do. I know, Tony, you were mentioning that, but home ownership, private ownership of property with no property tax that, can't be confiscated because of some, we'll say unlawful legal
loophole,
ordinance
to
or statute.
Steal people's wealth.
Exactly. It's theft by any other name.
Yeah.
Why it's so important.
Yeah, and it's shameful, to be honest, because Home
That's
ownership.
criminal. They don't call it
Yes.
shameful. It's criminal.
Criminal, exactly. Home ownership is part of the American dream. Having a piece of
That's
the
right.
pie. It's how most people gain wealth in this country, right? I used to do work for a guy, and he basically he was a contractor, right? And he said my first house was really small. Bought it, fixed it up, sold it, moved into a bigger house, fixed that up, bought it, sold it. Next thing you know, he was building a 8,000 square foot house and on a beautiful lot. You know what I mean? But he did it through the ability to be able to purchase, his first home, live there for a while, gain equity in it, fix it up, and then move on. But it's so difficult nowadays to do that with interest rates. And by the way, folks, sorry to break this to you, they're going up. They're going up a quarter of a point. They have to try to stem down the inflation we're starting to feel, and the inflation's going to get worse. Like I said, when everybody told me I was full of shit when I said inflation was coming, I mean,
Inflation's
because it makes-
inevitable when you
Yes.
print money.
yeah, it's not even printing money. It's the cost of fuel. See, a lot of people
Right.
like to complicate it, and your bureaucrats in Washington want to complicate it and make it seem like it's all these complex economic reasons we end up with inflation. No, it comes down to energy is the core of all inflation. It all comes down to energy.
Keynesian
And-
economics, printing funny money,
Yeah.
fiat currency, and usually entangled alliances, middlemen that have no business being there. I know, like our oil, even the stuff that we fully produce, I forget what it is. One's like 8%, and the other one is maybe
The stuff we
17%. There's almost like
produce, we can't-
25.
yeah.
Well, there's almost like 25% that's marked up just in the I don't know if I want to say oil speculation, but it's something, I guess it's
Well-
with British overseas stuff, and it has no business because they don't contribute anything to our oil.
Yeah. Well, the problem with our oil is we can't refine it here. We have to ship it out, right? Because our refineries are so old, they're designed to refine the heavyweight crude, the stuff you get from Canada, Mexico, and the Middle East. The stuff we produce here from the Marcellus Shale and some of those other things is a very lightweight crude. And we actually have to ship that out, have it refined, and then brought back in. But what people don't understand, and it's a real simple premise, oil is a global commodity, much like gold and silver. So if I pull gold or silver out of the ground in Alaska, doesn't make it cheaper just because I pulled it out of American soil and it's in America. It's still a global commodity. And just like grain and anything else, it's going to be priced at a global price
The
per
market
barrel.
rate.
Yeah, the market rate. And there's just no way around it. And people just have to understand and wrap their head
Yeah.
around it.
And a lot of people don't understand that, okay, we buy, 500 million barrels of oil at a high price, okay, at a high rate. Prices of oil go down. Oh, now they think, gases and all that's going to get cheap. No, it's not. Not until that 500 million barrels at the high price is gone.
Yes.
Then what we have bought at a lower price, well, now the prices can go down because
Yes.
now you've got some at a lower rate. You can pass that on.
Yep,
because
and
They
you
always
also-
say that
cheaper-
anytime
it's
something
cheaper
goes
to
up, it's
deliver,
quick
it's
to
cheaper to-
rise. Anytime
Yeah.
that you get a windfall or something, it's just going to slowly trickle down.
Mhm.
You're never going to get the market to follow at that rate, and that's assuming that everything and all the
Right.
levers and mechanisms built in are justified and not a matter of I'll just say that they're not crooked, because we have to understand there's a lot of deliberate sabotage. We
Manipulation.
call it,
Yeah.
right. It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. You always have to have some type of backdoor switch to manipulate markets, because remember, these commodities, as you mentioned, unfortunately, the people who built a lot of the law around this built lawfare, so it's can be weaponized against other nations.
Yes, 100%. And you're seeing it right now with China, and Xi Jinping, the president of China, basically in his speech the other day gave a stark warning to President Trump about Taiwan, and basically said that if you want relations to be good and normal, you're going to basically let us do what we want in Taiwan. Now I know your conservative media is going to make it seem like, oh, this is Trump's over there dominating Xi Jinping. He's not.
No, it's
He's
a
not. When he was
negotiation. They're
asked
not
if
going
he
to do
talked,
anything.
and
They're
when he
not
was
going to do
asked,
anything without it benefiting them. Then that's the
course.
same with Trump. He's not going to do anything without it benefiting us. So it's a negotiation. It is not. We're not dominating.
I will say this. A good way. I do think, to add to what you just said, Carl, was the fact that you had Jensen of NVIDIA coming with
Yeah.
them. I know last minute, but the fact is, Silicon is America, is American.
yes,
And if you want to have any of the new frontier, we got kill switches that we can put inside of that. And with that being a matter of national security or national interest, I would not be surprised if that goes in there. So I look a lot of this stuff as, I don't care what China's going to say it's going to try to do. And this is my perspective, but I see them being checkmated at just about every point. I do see a lot of posturing, positioning of stuff, but I look at China more as a possibly like your Soviet Union. You don't know when it's going to fall, but one day it's just gonna crumble, or it's gonna have to change exactly what it is. I don't think China is doing as great as a lot of people look at. I think a lot of it has been.
They do a whole lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, they do a lot. They do a lot of that. They're really good at positioning, just like I think Russia has been. Nations are really good at that, but and they can cause a lot of damage. I'm not saying that they don't, but just I often wonder how many times people will buy into different narratives of things, of just how strong something is, when it might just be fragile. Like, you only see the best of people on social media, and then eventually it comes out that they were completely crashing and burning. So
yeah, happens all the time.
yeah,
Look at that one dude that was just wrapped up, the conservative commentator that was just wrapped up in human trafficking. I forget his name, but he was all over with Don. Had pictures with Don Jr. and Dan Bongino and all these people. He was like some TikTok guy, and here he was all wrapped up in this human trafficking with the cartels and stuff. And that's the thing, people do stuff like that, and that's my frustration with people when you tell them the truth and they lash out at you and they get pissed at you. The people that are lying to you and telling you everything's great and we're winning and all this stuff, and that nothing Trump does is wrong and don't question Trump, and they're the people that are doing it for the clicks. That's the clickbait. That's not real analysis of the landscape and what's going on. And I know people don't like to hear it, and I get that. I don't like to hear things that make me feel uncomfortable either.
I say for the most part. Yeah. I found a couple of good ones that are out there, but again, you have to be smart. You have to understand history. You have to use discernment, and that's the worst. That's like the one thing that is in such low supply right now. Everybody's grasping for straws. They'll latch on to anything. You get confirmation bias anywhere. Nobody has any discernment, and then you end up getting the dumbest geopolitical and theopolitical takes on things.
You do. It's almost like people. I don't think people realize how bought off media people are, and from your smallest media person all the way up to Botox Hannity, right?
Wasn't there like something with $20,000 the CIA or whoever the intelligence agencies paying people to
Yeah, dude,
yeah, we're not going to delist you, just don't get in our way, we'll give you $20,000 to stay on course.
You've got AIPAC giving free trips to Israel. They give you a free trip to Israel, and they wine and dine you, and then they will advertise with you, and all you have to do is just tote the narrative. You can't say anything wrong. You can't question anything that's going on in the Middle East. And then next thing you know, you have the Ukraine lobby trying to lobby you to preach about how great the war is going in Ukraine. And it's just the way it works.
They'd probably stop that real quick if you just got a whole bunch of Christians taking it and then they just go start witnessing to the Jews. It's just,
Yeah.
You know, you have them go there. They probably won't like that too much, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. You just get so much of those people that people can't wrap their heads around behind the scenes. You get flooded with this stuff. You really do. You get flooded with it. You get flooded with the White House talking points. I get them emailed to me every other day, right? And they change, and you can always tell what they are, because, I mean, the ones now is we could not allow Iran to get a nuclear bomb. That's the new talking point. You're going to hear it everywhere. Been hearing it everywhere for days, right? So no matter what the question is. And we saw it with President Trump when he was asked about, the financial effect on the American people, if he thought about that. And he goes, no, I don't think about anything like that when it comes to the Iran war. I just think about Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Right now, I don't think he meant it in the way that the media is trying to portray it. Right? I don't think that he's meant it as, oh, you know what? Screw the American people. I just want to stop Iran from getting. I don't think he meant it that way, and the way that they're taking it. But if I'm a Democrat, I'm going to use that.
Twist stuff.
Yeah, if I'm a Democrat, I'm definitely, because he said it, so I'm going to use it. Especially towards the midterms.
Yeah, I think one of the problems, like I look at this almost as a bit of a necessary evil or problem we've gotten ourselves into. Everybody has to put out talking points because you have so much saturation that nothing will stick. And so it's like you're trying to create a coordinated effort so something can stick in people's minds. Now, I hate when people do it, but I can also understand a little bit of a rationale. You're just pushing things further and further into insanity.
Yeah. Well, you came from a little bit of a marketing background. So you know the way it works, repetitiveness and constant saturation, filling a void that people have, convincing people that, to me, marketing is about convincing somebody they need something they don't need.
Always called it weaponized psychology.
It is.
At its worst, and that's what you see intelligence agencies and other things. It's all about shaping narratives so that you can control the field, or we call game theory. Game theory is a great thing for everybody to study because it's all about how can you set up guardrails so that no matter what action your adversary takes, you can lead them down to a series of predetermined outcomes. Now, the less outcomes that you can get, and it's a better box that you see, but that is where you see all of this positioning that you mentioned, where they always say Iran's going to get a nuclear bomb. It's always 2 weeks, and it's been going on that way for decades now. What I always wonder is, be more honest and just say what's really going on, because a lot of times there's always we call like an exoteric. There's
Yeah.
a lie that's put out for the public. It's not meant for them to understand. It's a way for those who don't know to never know, and those who are in the know to get the message. It's like, how can you get your comms to the intended people while also remaining scrambled to those that don't need to know? You know what we talk about? Like, you're talking to somebody on the inside. So you say something very coordinated, or Trump says something very coordinated that most people wouldn't understand, or say, that sounds really weird. And it's like his enemy or somebody he knows, that's a coded message.
Yeah.
Fact is, we're on the outside looking in. It's so hard at times to see what's going on because we don't have inside baseball. We've only got bits and pieces, and we can't tell which is authentic, which is misinformation, which is telephone, which is disinformation.
I always
And
look
so-
at it as a way to create such fear and the ability for them to say, "How dare you question it? What do you want to die?
There we go. Yeah, an appeal. Yeah, an appeal.
Do you
want to
die? What? Do you,
oh,
you're
Mhm.
complaining about paying more for groceries and more for gas, but what, do you want to die? You know, and I just look at and it's like, it almost makes your head want to explode, because a rational person that really looks at it. I mean, these people forget that the internet's forever. Like, I played BB talking about how we've got to stop Iraq from getting a nuclear, not Iran, Iraq from getting a nuclear weapon, and they're in the pursuit, and they're months away. And this is back in the day. And it's the same talking points. And now you want me to believe, because I'm a rational person. I'm not, I'm very level-headed, and I try to analyze things, and I don't get sucked into the bubble of the camp of MAGA, where everything Trump says is like from God. Now, there's people out there that get sucked into that. I refuse to. Doesn't mean I don't love Trump. Doesn't mean I don't think he's a great president. It just means I'm rational. I think on my own. Right? And I'm not going to love everything he does. Right? I mean, the whole Epstein thing was a fucking debacle. Right? From the get-go. And thank you, Pam Bondi. It was a debacle. It was a complete, utter F-up.
Here's another problem with that too, is you have to wonder how much of that was him and how much was his staff. And then you get these folks that say, I'll be loyal, I'll take the fall for you, and try to, I don't want to say cover up, but you know how he would go back and forth, say there's nothing that's there. And you'd have to wonder.
Well, calling it a hoax, the way, okay. I know he didn't mean it was a hoax. I know he didn't mean it that way, but the way it was said, it was easy to take it that way. Because I've said this before, it's not what you say, it's how you say it that matters, right? Because those things sink into people's heads. And when you start calling your base morons or low IQ because they're not buying into the narrative, you start to splinter and separate people, and you start to lose people, right? People you need. We need absolutely everybody coming out in the midterms. Everybody. Even the people...
regardless of disagreements.
Yeah, and the problem is you have people on MAGA, in MAGA, that have their heads crammed so far up Trump's asshole that they're like, oh, we don't need those people. We don't need those. No, you need absolutely everybody.
You need
everybody coming out. Those low propensity voters that came out in 2024, the ones that saw the injustices that were being done, the ones that saw the injustices being done against the J6ers, the people that normally wouldn't get off their couch and come vote, the people that saw the injustices being done to President Trump that normally wouldn't come out and vote, and they went out and they voted because they wanted to see people like Tina Peters and the J6ers and Michael Capillaro that was on here. They want to see people like him get justice because they were wrongfully prosecuted, right? So you need to get those people off the couch, and by, basically telling them that what you campaigned on campaigned on releasing the files, and whatever. I feel that Trump intentionally wanted to release those files, but for some reason, it all got messed up in the gears. Maybe Pam Bondi was lied to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Behind the scenes, we don't know what's going on. There could be a lot of stuff at play, and we just don't know.
What I feel happened, to be honest with you, is I feel that Pam Bondi, hey Starman, I feel that Pam Bondi was compromised. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I feel like she was compromised, and
I don't know.
I'm gonna have Peter
bit off more than she could chew.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Peter Tipton on. Tina Peters' attorney. I had him on my radio show like maybe a couple of months ago. Actually, I had him on when the incident happened with her in the prison where she got into that fight. But he was talking about how he has no confidence in Todd Blanche. And Peter Tipton was honest. He's like, I want to be attorney general. I put my name in the ring. He's being considered. But he basically said Todd Blanche is not doing anything. Now, Peter Tipton has been fighting. And you know what? The thing is now MAGA will come out and say, oh, he's a loser. He's a jerk. When he's been out there fighting. See, that's what happened. Because you have Laura Loomer out there now trying to sink Tulsi Gabbard. She's the only one out there doing anything in the administration to expose the deep state and take them down. But you have Israel First, Laura Loomer out there, right? She's a psychopath, by the way, out there trying to sink and get Tulsi Gabbard chucked out of the administration. Now, when Tulsi Gabbard was first named DNI, MAGA loved her. Oh, she's the greatest thing ever. Right? But if Laura Loomer turns on her and gets into Trump's head and starts
That's why I said discernment. Discernment's so powerful because everybody's going to have a polarizing opinion on somebody else.
Yep.
And depending on what you believe is true and what information you know about history and otherwise, you're going to come to a completely different conclusion.
You know who was the main, and I heard this from somebody that actually knows it. I'm not going to reveal the name, but I know somebody that actually knows what happened. Loomer was the one that got into Trump's head about Marjorie Taylor Greene and facilitated the riff that you've seen unfold over the Epstein files. That was Loomer. Loomer, go back in time. Loomer and Marjorie Taylor Greene never liked each other. They hated each other. And when that whole riff happened with the Epstein files, Loomer, he was very close to President Trump. Unfortunately, I don't know why. She's a raging lunatic. Got into President because she's gotten people, and I know there's people out there in MAGA that are going to say, oh, look at the people that she's exposed and gotten out of the deep state and this and that. She's a moron. She caused the riff to go even deeper between Trump and MTG to the point where President Trump called her a traitor. Right? No matter what you think of Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's not the smartest thing to do for somebody that's been on your side and fighting for you. Right? And Laura Loomer, you know, she's a mental case. Her own father came out and said he had her institutionalized. Documents are out there, folks. Don't take it from me, but I know from somebody who knows firsthand that she's the reason that the rift was caused between MTG and President Trump, and she's trying to do it with Tulsi Gabbard, the only one that's doing anything against the deep state. You want to know why? Because Tulsi came out and basically said the intelligence wasn't there for nukes in Iran. And Loomer is paid by who?
Well,
AIPAC.
The funny thing is, Tulsi wasn't the only one that said that. You know, that's the thing is, you know, she wasn't the only one that said that. You know, that was widely reported from intelligence, you know, across the board. You know, it's not just Tulsi saying that. It's the entire intelligence community was saying that. You know, there was no real reason for us to be there, you know, other than, you know, economics, etc.
Yeah. All right. So I don't want to get hung up on Iran again because I'll go into my rant and I'm sick of it. What I want to talk about is this bomb in Alabama.
I think we're all tired of Iran.
I want to talk about this bomb in Alabama.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Wait, I got a clip. It doesn't go into too much detail, but we can kind of guide everybody into it. You didn't hear about this, Jacob?
I've been in an educational conference all day.
Yeah. Well, it sucks to be you.
Right.
Oh, it was nice to take a break. Let's see who bombed what.
They didn't bomb it; they found it, which is nuts.
At the dam that supplies all the
drinking water.
Yeah. And
a grenade-type explosive device was found underwater at Big Creek Lake, the primary drinking water supply for the Mobile area. The Mobile area water and sewer system, MAW, is saying divers found this improvised explosive device while surveying the lake's dam for routine repairs. A multi-agency bomb squad team, including the FBI, Mobile County Sheriff's Office, and state law enforcement, retrieved and safely destroyed it, as you just saw. MAW says the drinking water supply was not affected. Big Creek Lake is federally designated critical infrastructure, and Homeland Security has been notified. We're trying to find out where the IED came from, if it's been there for some time, or if investigators think it was placed there. A grenade-type explosive device was found under...
You know, right there, that should freak everybody out. I mean, the fact that the only reason they found it is because diving crews were doing maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why it was placed there in the first place. Was it placed there to be
opinion,
found? Was that convenient that it was found there? Never underestimate your own government or malcontents to do that and to be able to conveniently blame somebody.
Well, it could have been that leprechaun.
Right?
It could have been a leprechaun, but you know, with it being Tony, you know this. You know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I probably do.
Racism coming back, they're going to try to poison all our drinking water. It's bombing. Forget the fact that it's not in Birmingham.
Show you right.
You know what it's going to be. It's like you're gonna find some of the grifting black churches and preachers and Democrat community are going to try to turn this into racism. The bomb is racist. It was too white.
They have to turn it into racism
because they're completely because they're completely irrelevant.
The only thing they got left is racism.
I mean, it's the only thing they got. The only thing they have left to hold on to is a phantom hate that didn't pan out the way that they said. Montgomery and Birmingham, the whole thing with Martin Luther King and all the riots and stuff there. People got to go watch Chad O. Jackson's documentaries, Vince Everett Ellison and the stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who is old enough to remember a lot of that stuff, that was staged. They tried this in other cities and states and jurisdictions. cops got wind of it, they didn't respond with the right side. It's communist tactics. There were a whole bunch of communists that were causing a bunch of trouble, and now you can't say anything bad about it. I found it interesting, with Martin Luther King, just to go off on a tiny tangent, all of his stuff he had copyrighted, so you can't use any of his stuff within public or his family can come after and sue. Matt Walsh had divulged that when he did that, when the Daily Wire just put out that documentary that they put out on the civil rights.
Yeah, if you're going to use it in any way to make any type of money, yeah, you're looking for a lawsuit from the family. Absolutely.
Yeah, Stanley Levison, one of King's right-hand men, well-known communists. I mean, they knew how to do their stuff. Just the problem is they were all nefarious. But Alabama having bombs down there, I'm not sure. I'm not going to be the one to state anything on this. I don't really know to what extent Mobile's dam would be considered critical infrastructure for anything other than it's going to cause problems down in the Gulf in that local area. But I don't know. The only thing we know is from Forrest Gump. Those are shrimp boats.
Mobile is not a small town. Okay.
No, it's not a small town. It is a dingy, dirty water.
Right. That water reservoir right there supplies all of the water to all of Mobile.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a lot of people fixing to go without water if that thing blows up.
Now, I don't remember, though, if Mobile – I don't remember what size it is in the state. I mean, used to be Birmingham was one of the biggest ones, but we just keep shrinking. I mean, everybody just keeps leaving Birmingham because it's just a cesspool of race baiting.
Yeah.
I mean, all the good shopping is completely outside of Birmingham.
That's a large part of Alabama, period.
It's unfortunately become a large part of Alabama. I mean, Huntsville's grown big. Auburn, Opelika, all those – areas, and then Tuscaloosa. Okay, they got some cool stuff, but I mean, Mobile is old and dirty. That's all I can say. I don't know if you're going to put an IED for maximum impact. I don't know what strategic.
About Mobile, right?
I don't know what strategic thing you do there on a national scale.
Well, I don't know about national scale, but local. Local, you do some damage.
Yeah, imagine if you have multitudes of these things planted in just random places and they all detonate at one time. The chaos you could create.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot more sense if they're strategically put. But then again, I still ask.
Imagine if
what
you
is
have
there in
one,
Alabama?
Yeah, imagine if you have one there at the water treatment at the dam, and then you have one at the electrical grid. And then you start just popping these things off in random ass places. You see, because the problem is everybody expects an attack in Washington, D.C. Everybody expects an attack in New York City. Everybody expects an attack in California. You know what I mean? They're not expecting an attack in Mobile, Alabama. Right? I mean, a fucking leprechaun in the hood is there.
And exactly. Well, I just have to say this. Whoever I have to question the IQ of whoever's going to blow up something in Alabama.
I'm going to show you.
Here's the thing. Right, just like Jacob was saying, kind of, if you want to spark off a race war, bomb freaking Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, yeah, right. Do it where you've got a lot of disenfranchised black population in a state that is easily mobilized for any race hustling.
Well, I'm going to show you.
Well, just in time for St. Patrick's Day, crowds are coming by the dozens to get an up-close view at what some say is a piece of Irish folklore.
Some people in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun is taking up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
This never gets old.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community. Many of you bringing binoculars, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun say yeah?
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears.
I think that was
this amateur sketch resembles what many of you say the leprechaun looks like. Others find it hard to believe and have come up with their own theories and explanations for the image.
My theory is it's casting a shadow from the other limb.
Could be a crackhead.
crackhead that got hold to the
I
wrong
like that
stuff.
theory.
And he told him to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
We're gonna get down to the bottom of this. Yeah, still down there, guy. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, man.
This guy helping to direct traffic says he's prepared for his encounter with the leprechaun. He's suited up from head to toe.
This wars off spells right here.
Really?
This is a special leprechaun flute, which has been passed down from thousands of years ago from my great-great-grandfather. I just came to help out.
Others just came to get lucky in hopes a pot of gold may be buried under this tree.
I'm gonna run them back on that tree. I want to know where the gold at. I want the gold. Give me the gold. I want the gold.
This is Brian Johnson, NBC 15 News.
People will do
Those are the
anything.
people of representing Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, you know what? Some of them are really good folks too.
I gotta be honest. I'm at a loss for words. I mean, I love that video. If I'm ever having a bad day and I feel bad about myself, I watch that.
Weapon.
So, Carl,
I
Carl,
watch
listen,
it, and it makes me feel so much more intelligent than really what I am.
Carl,
If you ever have a bad day and you feel stupid, just pull up Leprechaun in the Hood, Mobile, Alabama, and you are gonna feel like fucking Einstein. Yeah, just saying.
You know what, Carl? Your theory, if it is a leprechaun, unfortunately, it's going to go right back to race. I mean, it's the whitest of the white you can get. But maybe he can get some privilege. He is small, so maybe he's a protected class.
And he's not white.
Yeah, technically,
he's super white.
The leprechaun?
Technically,
the Irish.
He's green. Did you ever see Leprechaun in the Hood, the movie?
Yes, I know.
Motherfucker's green, dude.
Well, look, man, Christopher Nolan is making Troy with Black. Was it Penelope? Look,
the trans.
Snape is now, and now Snape and Harry Potter. They
is there a movie trailer for that?
What, for the new? I hope that there will be for the new. I have to wonder if he's just being punished. He made so many good movies. You just have to wonder if somebody's got some dirt on him and making him do like a humiliation walk.
The original Troy had
Brad Pitt in it. Yeah,
all steroided up. Now they got some 90-pound transgender.
Yeah, they're looking at what her name, Ellen Page, and they're race swapping and gender swapping folks. And like I said, it's like everything is forcefully being pissed on and destroyed and removed. It's like you're having to dismantle all of your heroes. They're banking. I mean, I know these companies, one rationale is they're banking on the next generation, that they're able to mold them, get them away from traditional values. It's like, you don't understand just how cooked the coming generation is. Either they're going super based or they're brain rot.
The funniest thing is China has no transgender surgeries going on over there. There's nobody over in China trying to convince young men to cut their dicks off.
Yeah, because they know that because all these things that we have ingested, they know are tools of communism to destroy other nations.
Eugenics.
Yes.
They know it's a weapon, and they said we are not going to allow that destruction to come into our nation. It's like, we know that this stuff is bad. We created it, and we're deploying it on you to tear you down.
Unconventional warfare. Unconventional warfare. We're witnessing it.
Yeah, if we were to tell our ancestors that the way to do warfare was to convince our enemies to cut their dicks off, they wouldn't believe it.
My theory about this, and there's some new people that watch, but my theory about the feminazis and the women's lib movement in the 70s, convincing women that they didn't need a man, convincing women that it was more noble to have a career than to raise a family, to raise a child, convincing them the American family, that it was more important to have materialistic things, and you needed a two parent workforce, where both people had to work, and creating the inflationary environment that we have, where you have to have, two working people in the household in order to afford just basic crap. I mean, think about when we were kids. Well, I don't know how old are you, Tony? I'm 52. So
I'm older.
You're older. So, when we were kids, most of the time mom was home, or at least home by the time we got home from school, to make sure we did our homework, to make us meals, to conversate with us. Dad came home, we watched the news, maybe read the newspaper. We all sat down to dinner together. Now, little Timmy's in the basement beating his dick to anime porn and playing video games, while mom's getting lip injections, and Botox shot up in her face so she can get a promotion at work. And Dad, well, he's using freaking he's using Just for Men hair stuff to make himself look younger, and using Particle 5 face cream for men, and also getting the Botox and the manicures so he can feminize himself and look younger.
Metrosexual, or he's just...
remember the metrosexual? That was the beginning.
That whole big fat...
And that was the other thing. Convincing women that feminized men were more attractive than, men, with calluses on their hands and, scars on their faces and, dirt under their fingernails. Nothing wrong with a little dirt under your fingernail. I'm going to make you a sandwich with it. I'm going to give you some parasites. Don't worry about it.
It's good for the immune system. So, Carl, part of our education, or continuing education we're doing today, we actually covered something that's really relevant, and I was going to go into more detail about this when we do when I'm on next time.
Yeah.
This was from who was it? Director Aaron Rousseau recounting his discussion with Nicholas Rockefeller on the family's creation. So from the Rockefellers, we started and funded the women's movement so that we could tax both sexes. That way we could put women to work and take the children for control. So the whole point of being, how do you get women out of their traditional role? Because we understand that the women their roles were flipped, or the sexes' roles were flipped. We made the effeminization of men, and you see that a lot in the churches today. Everybody's constipated, raising their hands up, singing, "We love Jesus," "I love you, Jesus," and it sounds like South Park Faith Plus One. But
the Southern preacher voice, the Lindsey Graham voice, always gets me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They all sound that way. They're all like,
pauses.
"Oh, welcome to church on Sunday." It's like, I don't want to leave my kid near you, dude. You look like a creep.
Yeah, they've been to seminary and they've learned how to do that.
Yeah, man, you have these caricatures that everybody starts to fall into. Yes, you've always got to. And so you've got the televangelist stuff, you've got the appeal to emotion, but we definitely see the fruits of this, and we can see it was a concentrated effort. You masculinize the women, you feminize the men. You had to create some type of perceived injustice and then market the heck out of it by overtaking any media controls that you could in order to paint a false reality. They did that with the civil rights movement as we understand it. They did it with women's suffrage and the feminist movement as we understand it. A lot of that stuff has been provably false, and we know who the people who funded and pushed this. They were Marxists, fascists, socialists, communists. They were eugenicists. Planned Parenthood, your Margaret Sanger. But the whole point is, it successfully got women into the workforce where the family no longer can pass down its values, its worldview, and ultimately have control over the kids. You give them to the state. The state wanted this. This was an express goal of Stalin, of Hitler, of Mao. And we saw the results. You got the Hitler Youth, you got the Red Army, you got all of these other things. It is a calculated thing. And then you end up having, unfortunately, the mental midgets who got caught up in the propaganda, who defend their oppressors and they persecute the oppressed. And they end up loving and revering people like Martin Luther King, like Margaret Sanger, like many of these other charlatans who were deceivers and continue to deceive.
Margaret Stanger. I mean, do people realize? Do the black people realize? And all these leftists that are all inclusive realize that Margaret Stanger was the creator of Planned Parenthood.
They never read a lick of what she said about black babies.
There's a reason that all Planned Parenthoods are in the hood. In the black minority neighborhoods, there's a reason that they're there.
Minority neighborhoods.
Because she was a eugenicist.
Yeah. You know,
it's a continuation of eugenics, and so is the transgender movement.
And mRNA. Well, we'll say right, transhumanism, the whole thing of editing your DNA, all of these things are trying to get to what Nietzsche and others had envisioned called the Ubermensch, which is just a modern rebranding of your old paganism, where we want to ascend to be like the gods. We mate with the gods. We create those half breeds. That's where you get your Nephilim stuff from. It's nothing new.
They actually refer back to the Bible. In the Bible, when God was kicking out Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, what did he say? He said that they needed to be cast out, and here's the quote: "Lest they become as gods," because now they had they ate from the tree of knowledge, not the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay, knowledge. Period. They had the knowledge of God. Okay, they were now aware. They knew things that they didn't previously know. They were now aware, and at that point, had they eaten from the tree of life, which would grant eternal physical life, they would become as gods. And he needed to kick them out of the garden lest they become as gods. And that's where the basis of all of that comes from. Of that trying to achieve godhood. Because they extrapolate that to, that means it's possible.
Yeah, even with the Tower of Babel, I mean, the whole point of the flood was the fact that you had angels were destroying all sorts of, we're tampering with genetics. So you had men were mating, and you had these demigods. That's where you got this whole thing with Atlantis, and it was chaos on Earth. God wiped it out. They tried to do similar thing was happening at Sodom. That's why God was so much over that. You could go into the homosexuality bit, but it was two angels.
Of homosexuality. They weren't.
Homosexuality is bad, but
they were destroyed because they tried to kill God's messenger.
Eradicate them.
They were trying to screw the angels. Remember, they were saying bring them out. We'll have sex with them.
Yes, they were Sodom and Gomorrah.
Exactly, Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, I mean,
the guy he offered them his daughters.
Yeah, offered them the daughter, and they're like, "No, we want angel flesh.
We want
angel. We want those half breed.
We want some of that angelic.
Yeah, we want some of that angelic
buttocks.
Exactly. Yeah, they want angelic pegging.
So, these data centers that they're trying to build everywhere. Did anybody see Tucker with Kevin O'Leary? And how he was saying,
a little bit.
He was saying that it was going to create jobs instead of take jobs away.
I still think.
I mean, I'll be honest. I love AI. I do. I love it. I use it all the time for contracts. For graphics, all kinds of shit. I use it for. I mean.
It makes running a business a lot quicker.
You don't need
for
an attorney.
redundant tasks.
Yeah, it's very convenient, and it makes life very easy, especially like if you're a business owner, right? And you need to just create things, you know. But I'm not necessarily loving these data centers because if you think about it, you're just creating a massive center where everything you do can be captured.
The data
and
centers
weaponized
are
against
actually,
you.
They are actually more infrastructure for the surveillance state.
That's what I was going to say. Is we can clearly project and see where this is going, you know, and not to get too spiritual again, but if Scripture is true and Revelation is going to come to pass, it's going to come to pass in some way, and I think we're seeing a lot of that infrastructure being built. It's completely possible to see how something could lock you out from buying and selling, know everything that you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
You know.
We're setting up a digital surveillance state where we end up with a social credit score, just like China's doing with these data centers. And the tech bros are loving this, right? Because they're saying this is great. It's going to we got to beat China, and we're going to be so wealthy because of it. They're going to be wealthy because of it, not us. We're not going to get anything. We're not going to gain anything from these data centers except for probably more cancer, higher utility bills, a strain on our water supply, because it takes a lot of water to cool these fucking places down.
But you know, if only you could get your crazy UN climate agenda folks to go after that.
No. Dude, remember when the tech bros, they were all flying over to Davos, and they were all talking about, we got to save the environment. And then they did a complete 180. You know, as soon as Trump was elected, they're like, he loves business. He loves bringing innovation into America. Let's bend his ear on how we're gonna be able to. Beat China with AI. But here we are, NVIDIA. We're going to allow China to buy NVIDIA chips now, which is the second most powerful chip out there for AI. Like, why are we allowing?
They pretty much have the market. AMD, I'm sorry, they just don't have anything that I can see to compete with it. Here's one thing that I wonder, and it doesn't mean it's going to go this way at all, but I do have some thoughts about AI, at least that market, and what it's going to do for businesses, possibly completely collapsing, where it's not going to be sustainable for folks, not in terms of like energy or anything, but that it becomes a detriment. And maybe we'll have AI to do a lot of these novelty things for us and certain things. But I wouldn't be surprised on one hand if this does act like a bubble and it busts and we don't have much use for it. But the infrastructure has been conveniently built for governments in order to start to say, okay, now we have a nice backbone for accelerating surveillance. And
I think you're going to see the stock market AI bubble burst because that's what's driving the stock market right now. Everybody's all excited. I want people to look back under Joe Biden when we had this high inflation. Stock market was still doing pretty fucking good because we had this AI innovation. Again, much like the tech boom. Remember that? Remember the .com bubble? We're seeing that right now. We're seeing that set up. You have all these AI companies coming on, fueling the stock market right now. That bubble is going to burst at some point, and there's going to be a few, much like the internet craze, there's going to be a few that survive and thrive, right? Yeah. Like your Amazons, they're going to
consolidate and monopolize as much as the government will let them do, and you're going to have artificial winners and many artificial losers. As much
Regarding
as
these random data centers going up in places around, different cities, whatever, all across the country. James, Empty Pockets, was telling me how they're in Springfield, or actually nearby. They're going to be they have taken over a factory and are going to be refitting it and everything to produce military drones. Now, one of the catches to that is, along with that drone building facility, there has to come a data center, because the drone building facility needs it to control these drones.
my concern,
so right there, you're already providing surveillance capabilities. These drones not only can be weaponized, but they can be fitted with surveillance equipment, to be used as reconnaissance in warfare. But on the homeland side of it, surveillance. And we already see drones. We already see drones in the air in our big cities, all the time. It's a constant thing anymore. So.
Tony, I got a big concern. Well, Tony and Carl, I got a big concern on this. Is we expect that there's going to be a lot of pollution to the environment, and it's going to affect anybody within miles radius. I think you're already seeing some reports that people are they're hearing and feeling a lot of I don't want to say humming, but you're having frequencies that are put out.
Yeah.
My concern is you're going to start having a lot more mental health problems, because when you're living in frequencies like that, they can have serious deleterious effects. So I'm not surprised that we're going to probably see a lot of people go have a lot more nervous system problems. They're going to go insane. They're going to go crazy. The water is going to get really polluted, and people are going to probably start having radioactive poisoning, and they're not going to know it because you don't have much testing for those things. It may not be radium, but it may be. And so I think you're going to start seeing a lot more bone cancers, because a lot of these radioactive materials will cause either lead to start going into your bone to protect from the radiation. And certain of these radioactive elements will break down into lead, and they're going to get into the bones. So I'm expecting to see a lot more.
You remember the ladies, they got the radium jaw way back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. And this is stuff that it's sad, because these are things that I see in my practice. These are things that we have tools. They're available in our shop to start detoxing with. Now, they can cause a lot of sickness from doing detox. So it's that's why we always, that's why I'm in practice, because we're working with folks and all that stuff. Not to put a plug, but it's important to know that these are 21st century problems that are going to be coming up, and it's important people, one, know and are aware of this, and two, know that there are tools to successfully detoxify from this. My fear is that there's not a lot of people. I think I can only count on maybe one hand, maybe two hands, including me, that know how to detox this type of stuff and get people better, from this. But it's really concerning. And I'm not sure what people can do. I'm assuming that people are going to have their land taken eminent domain or whatever.
Here we go. Right here. I just pulled up a video. There's this woman in Georgia.
Yeah.
Right. Childhood home. Right. And I'll just let her explain it.
Hey, my name is Ansley. I wanted to come out here and show you guys firsthand what is happening in Coweta County, Georgia. Here in Coweta County, Georgia, Georgia Power is forcibly taking people's homes, okay? They have no choice in this matter. As you can see behind me, these are the power lines, and this is my childhood home. My childhood home is being taken by Georgia Power. They are going to bulldoze this entire property to the ground. We don't have a choice in this. They are going to be expanding these power lines. Why? For the data centers. All of this is for the data centers. And you may think this might not affect you personally, but what happens when they come for your house next?
I mean, that's absolutely insane. That, and again, the politicians, they don't care. You know why they don't care? because their pockets are getting lined while your life is getting destroyed. Right? The politicians are all about this. And you're not hearing the media talk about it. Meanwhile, this woman is losing her childhood home, probably something, that she inherited from her family. Right? She's going to get pennies on the dollar, because that's usually the way it works. They say fair market value, but it never is. It's never what you could sell it for on the private market. It's like if you take your car to a car dealer and you sell it to them.
I remember when the airport in Atlanta took my great grandmother's house, a house that had been in the family for ages. The airport in Atlanta took her home. They gave her fair market value, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. And you don't have a choice. They just
didn't have a choice at all.
A family works their whole life, pays these unfair taxes on the property. The government enslaves you, right? I said it before. To tax a man is to enslave him to his government. It's true. No truer words have ever been spoken than that. Right? You buy your land, and in essence, you're still renting it from the government. Right? Because that's what taxes are. You're paying rent to the government. They're allowing you to keep your home, and the ransom they're charging you is the taxes they decide you have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All because ransom. You have, add insult to injury, those taxes go to pay for the school systems. And I want to shut down those those predatory places.
Yep.
Nothing but PDFs and all sorts of crazies there. I don't want my tax dollars to go to the public school system. I want those to be shut down. Let it go back to private
indoctrination and grooming centers.
Exactly. They're grooming centers. They're failing grooming centers. And I had the pleasure of recording, being in a room where the municipality was handing out checks to all of the schools. So this was the taxpayers' money being given to the school systems, and they were giving them their ratings. These were inner cities. They were going from F's to D's, or D's to C's, and you had these superintendents, these principals, dressed up, dressed to the nines, and to see them go, you went from an F to a D. We're going to give you a check for somewhere around either $15,000 to $50,000, and I'm like, you pissing money down the drain. It was, I don't know how those people could have held their head up with any dignity. I mean, the shame that they had to have felt.
That's why they fight so hard against alternative schools.
Yeah, the school choice.
Charter schools, right? Here in Pennsylvania, we have charter schools, right? And, you have people that will slam these charter schools talking about, well, there's no transportation. Yes, there is. My kids went to charter schools. In Allentown, we don't have busing because all the schools are in walking distance of people's homes, right? There's a fucking school every 5 blocks around here. They're building them left and right for all these illegal invaders and their little, I'm not going to say it, they're kids that have come here with them. Leeches. That's what I'm calling them. Leeches. You heard it. But with the charter schools, what'll happen is they'll send a school bus to pick up your damn kid. And your kid will get a better education. You know why? Because the state of Pennsylvania requires those charter schools to perform 5 times better in order to get those tax dollars to educate your kid. Requires them to perform 5 times better than the public school. And they do. They're popping out kids that are going to Ivy League schools and stuff like that left and right. Left and right. Smaller classrooms, better education. Some of them even specialize in, my one daughter, Abby, went to an arts academy, right? Acting, music, all types of stuff like that, which is great. Art, digital art, right? And they have a medical one where you can go for a medical academy, where it prepares you for your college, right? You can even get some credits for college in the high schools, right? Why wouldn't you do it? It's innovative. You know why? Because the teachers' lobbies try to shut it down because the politicians, the Democrats, and even Republicans are in the pockets of the school union, and they've tried to shut them down in Pennsylvania, but the people rise up and they're like, hell no, especially in a place in an inner city where the school systems are so horrendous. They're so horrendous, and the people that are wealthier in the city can afford to send their kid to the Catholic school. Where the tuition is what? $25,000 a year to send your kid to a private school? That's insane. Who can afford that? Back in the day, if you belonged to the Catholic Church, tuition was a couple of $100 a year. Not anymore, baby. They soak you, right? They soak you for your kid to get a good education, which is disgusting.
Yeah, especially when you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't. Exactly. You come out of school with theoretical knowledge, but you don't know how to balance your checkbook. You don't know how to do things legally. In fact, that brings me up to one thing.
You don't need to. We got AI.
Well, okay, yeah. So great. Like guns, they're great equalizers. Maybe AI will end up working to our effect and being a great equalizer of a lot of criminality. But one thing you just made me think, and I don't mean specifically for this like a trust, but one thing you find, it was told to me a long time ago, and if anybody's ever read like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or just anything that Trump's done, the system is built, and you need to know what the system looks like and how it's built and play by those rules. You want to protect your money, maybe, or you want to protect assets. First off, you're going into business. You probably want to create an entity, an LLC, so that way only the LLC could get sued in case if something goes bad. You're personally protected.
Saves
Same
you
thing
from
you can
personal
do
liability.
with assets, developing a trust. Because if you start putting legal frameworks or legal firewalls or what we call veils, then things like eminent domain, things like taking property and things become a lot trickier because what you're doing is you're creating a lot of problems that may make the state or your adversary accountable or more. It's kind of like if you were to pull up and say that a judge didn't actually take their oath of office, and you say you don't have a record of that, and you pull that upon them, that they could get huge fines. There could be huge legal implications for a judge that's not properly, put into place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to figure out how to fight these folks or find out what, everybody has things that they respond to. Everybody's got an Achilles heel. And I think the average American has to start figuring out what are the levers that we have that are outside of voting. I mean, voting's one, but honestly, revolutions are always painted by rich or by those with power as, oh, it's a poor man, it's the working man, it's organic. It's BS. It's always people with money or people with power and influence, whoever they are. I think it was George Washington
to uprise. Yeah.
I think George Washington had upwards of $500 million in today's assets. These people were rich, wealthy men of means, and they did something great with it. So people today, if you're going to get into the fight, you've got to figure out who your enemy is, and you've got to figure out what levers that you can do to do a couple of things. Protect yourself, and in the process, make them respond and be considerate of what you can do to them. And I'm not talking about someone going out, you know, all guns blazing, doing kinetic
nothing
things like that.
Physically violent.
No, we're not talking about ever getting violent with people. We're talking about whether it's lawfare or I mean, it's just standing your ground and taking or playing them at their own game.
Well, I mean, I can tell you this lawfare thing is out of control. These judges and our judicial system and the legal bar, right, that can disbar you just because you've defended somebody that they don't politically agree with. I mean, look at John Eastman. Look what they did to him. They ruined his freaking career, right? All because he stood up for Trump. You know, this stuff is getting out of control, and that's my biggest fear with the road we're going down. You know, with these high inflation prices, because if these Democrats get power this time, dude, they're not playing fucking games. You heard Hakeem Jeffries just come out a few days ago, and he told you what they were going to do. And he's not lying to you. He's telling you the truth. These aren't idle threats. These are, we're doing this.
They have been telling us what they're going to do for quite a while now.
Yes, and you have no power to stop it. Because I'm telling you, by the grace of God, in Virginia, the Supreme Court did the right thing. By the grace of God. It was, what was it? It was by a slim margin, too. It wasn't a great margin that the court ruled that those maps and what they did not follow Virginia law, right? At some point, we're going to end up to where you're going to have a fully corrupt Supreme Court. I mean, I watched it here in Pennsylvania with the election fraud that happened in 2020. The governor completely circumvented and changed election laws, something he doesn't have the power to do, even under emergency, an act of an emergency. He doesn't have the power to do it. They didn't stop him. They didn't care because it was all Democrats.
Exactly.
And it's the same with these
calculated risk. How much evil can they get away with, and what are the consequences? If there's no consequences that we can feel, then that's going to send a message to everybody, and you're going to see copycats, and you're going to see other effects. I will say this, Carl. The past month, I will just say what had happened with the race gerrymandering and all of the cascading decisions that we've gotten here in the South. I guess you'd say a lot of the momentum we've had is just what I was mentioning. These things were set up purposefully. We figured out, or we'll say Trump, his administration, allies, whatever, figured out how to get things done effectively, to get these people to respond and figure out their weak points. We were just able to end so much race baiting, gerrymandering in a fell swoop that nobody could do it. Look at how your Democrats are so powerless. I mean, they're being completely locked. I won't say completely, but
well, the problem
you can't
that
deny
I have,
how much power that they have just been essentially locked out of overnight in just a couple of moves.
Yep. I think Mississippi is now starting to get squishy feet. And you got like America 93 in the chat said, you know, you got Brian Kemp, he's kicking the can down the road.
Well,
we need to
expect much out of Georgia. Yeah, not with Brian Kemp
and even South Carolina is another one. It's like Lindsey Graham. You know, President Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham. Why is President Trump having to waste his time to try to whip votes to get this goddamn thing done, this map change in South Carolina? Why isn't Lindsey Graham doing it? And I'll tell you why, because he's a worthless piece of shit rhino that would stab President Trump in the back in a fucking heartbeat, just like he did in 2020 when he said Joe Biden's a good man and he's a friend of mine, right? When it came to dragging Hunter Biden in front of the Judiciary Committee, he kept on saying he was going to do it. He kept on, and then he never did it. But yet the Trump boys, Don and Trump Jr., were drug in front of the Judiciary Committee and the Senate for fucking hours and hours to testify. But old Lindsey couldn't do it to his buddy. His buddy Biden.
They have their uses.
Yeah, and
I guess the little goblins that have their uses.
Yep.
Yeah, they should be sent
to
hell.
And Rhino Brian Kemp.
Yes.
I want to talk about him. He
Go
did,
for it.
however, just call for a special to redraw the district lines. We're
but
standing
for 2028.
Yes, because our elections are already underway.
Well, some states will postpone them, and they can.
So I mean,
he could postpone them.
Now I don't
under an emergency because what happened, what the Supreme Court just ruled on makes your maps illegal. So he could call a special session, postpone the election, right, under an emergency order because of what happened. But he won't, because he's a piece of shit Rhino Bush boy, and that's what he is.
Word out of my mouth.
Yep, you're right. He
was Brian Kemp.
Yep,
Okay.
he's a Bush boy.
He did call a special legislative session to redraw the maps. However, they're not going to take effect until 2028.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to position himself for a run for president in 2028. Yeah, so he can say, "Look what I did. Look what I did. I was America first, trying to fix this." The problem is you have all these people. And I'm still going to just point to Marco. Marco is who George Bush wants in 2028. The Rhino establishment. That's exactly who they want. And Marco's, I'm sorry, he's pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. He's for amnesty, and he was previously. Very anti-Trump, even through Trump's 2016 presidency. Very anti-Trump. Fought him on a lot of things. Now he just comes out of nowhere and he puts on his little MAGA hat and pretends like he's America first. But again, he's just a warmonger. A complete warmonger, all about getting America in the wars, all about Ukraine and sending them money. Sorry. I was never about that. And I was always anti-war. And I've always been anti-war in the Middle East. And I don't want anything to do with any of it. I don't give a fuck if Iran has a nuclear weapon. They're not going to launch it on the United States. It's all a bunch of fucking boogeyman bullshit. They're trying to feed you to make them all rich off of the backs of the American taxpayer. I'm sorry. It's the reality of it. There's no 3D chest. There's no 10D chest. None of it. Just doesn't exist. Not saying Trump's not a smart businessman. Not saying he's not a smart guy. Just saying he can be duped. And we've seen him be duped. He's got an ego. You stroke his ego. Because I guarantee you exactly what's going to happen. Trump's going to say all these things that him and China agreed on and all these things. And then next day, China's going to come out and go, well, we didn't agree to that. Happens all the time. We're not doing that. How many times have we won this war in Iran and destroyed their navy, destroyed their military, but yet we're still engulfed in this conflict? Right? We have a deal. We have a peace deal. They're opening up the Straits of Hormuz. Now they're not opening up the Straits. And I'm not railing on the guy. I'm just simply saying that just because he says it doesn't mean it's going to happen the way he said. Because I guarantee you, China's going to come out and be like, "Oh, we're not doing it." Look, it already happened with Boeing, right? China was supposed to buy 500,000 Boeing airplanes, right? Boeing's stock dropped. Why? Because they were supposed to buy that much. Trump comes out and goes, "Oh, well, they originally were supposed to buy 150, but now they're buying 200. No, they were originally supposed to buy 500. But you're trying to put icing on the cake, make it seem like it's a win when it's not. Now, I'll get attacked for saying that, but I don't care. I'm telling you the fucking truth. And if you can't handle the truth, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. Clickbait. I'm the clickbait man, but I'm telling you the truth. I find that hilarious. I do. But, you know, I mean, the problem with what happened with the win we had at the Supreme Court is you've got these weak-ass rhino Republicans that refuse to do anything or have action. And I said that as soon as we got the win, I'm like, this is great. And Florida's awesome. Tennessee, awesome. Louisiana, awesome. Right? But then you got Georgia and you have Indiana, right? Remember what happened in Indiana? It's going to happen again. Then you have Mississippi rolling it back now. Well, I don't know if we could do this. I don't know if we'll come to South Carolina. I don't know. It's not a right time. You know, it's all these excuses, right? They've got more excuses than a bank robber going to jail. And I could say something else, but I'm not. I'm changing it up. We all know the saying. If you grew up in the hood, you know the saying. But no, they do. They got more excuses why they can't do something. It's pathetic. It makes me sick. And you have all these rhino sympathizers. And what happens is you got these influencers and TV hosts and radio show hosts, the Sean plastic surgery, Botox Sean Hannity out there, you know, telling you, oh, we're going to win, we're doing it. And then nothing happens and you get upset. And you get deflated. And then the base doesn't show up.
Yeah. Gatekeepers and pacifiers.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's all really comes down to a sophisticated and coordinated way of controlling. Well, I just say controlling public opinion, controlling people, controlling politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know I mean, we're in our own bubble, but I don't know how much it's working anymore because that dinosaur media is really just going extinct. And you can see that between that and Hollywood, something is propping them up with money because they're doing things that are completely ideological and that are, well, okay, I get that. I think it goes even further than that, but you can see that it's more important to put out a message, or I should say a psychological operations on destroying everything cultural and what it means to be human. Because none of this stuff, I mean, it's all crap. It's a war on art. It's a war on intellect. It's a war on beauty. It's a war on everything. And they're not stopping. You thought they would have stopped with ruining Star Wars? No. Now they're going to rewrite. Stephen Colbert's redoing Lord of the Rings. What the heck?
Of course.
It is destroying everything in your face, almost like it's their personal vendetta to do so. You're seeing it switch from not only can we not make anything good, but we reject everything that's good, and we purposely have to go over everything that you value, and we have to just do it. It's like a demoralization campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
And money comes from somewhere. And sure, maybe from China, but I think it goes much deeper than that one.
Yeah. The funniest thing to me is, you know, how quick people just fall for the bullshit. How quick they just suck up and allow the bullshit to be shoveled down their throat. And even as the ship's sinking, they're like, "No, it's not sinking. Look, we're floating. It's floating. It's great. Oh,
the band's still
winning."
Carl, this really scares me because I see the same thing with health. It's what I worry about, and I have to call it out too. Is
we're winning.
You see people.
I'm homeless and I can't eat. What are you complaining about? At least you're alive, and Iran doesn't have a nuclear bomb.
You see these people. It's like they refuse to get it. It's the reward of their ignorance. This is their reward. They're like a dog with their vomit, and it's the same way with people and their health. They know that they should be doing better, but they don't. It's either complete lack of apathy. You can't get through to them. You can talk reason, and they'll get it here, but they won't do anything with it. And you can call them slothful. You can call them stupid. You can call them dumb, apathetic. But the reality is that they're, I don't know, you want to help them because they're your fellow man, but at the same time, you see them killing themselves. And in this case, they have the power to make a difference, and they're taking the rest of us down a very dark political path. And I just say scripture, I say God doesn't like that, and it doesn't end well for people who know the good they ought to do and they don't do it.
Amen.
You can't be neutral in any of this stuff. If God, you're going to be responsible for the information. I guess what I'm trying to say is, even when it comes to health, you're responsible for the information you're given. If you hear something or you become knowledgeable about something, you cannot pretend, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. You're going to be held accountable for that information, not only secularly speaking, but also when you stand before God. There is no neutrality. You better pick a side who you're on, and you better do something with it, because cowards have no place in heaven.
Amen. Amen.
Absolutely.
So get your head out of your ass and get out there and make some noise and vote.
Find your own business. So open your own business if you're able to. Learn, protect yourself, get involved.
Well, and that's a thing that I believe really needs to be done. Is people need to get more engaged in local politics, and because that's where a lot of change can be affected, and that's where a lot of policies that will directly affect your life happen.
Yep. Local sheriffs have so much. I mean, a local sheriff can stop almost everything higher up from coming into your jurisdiction.
Yeah,
you can kick any of a lot of the three-letter agencies out. Can't harass the people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think one of my first radio shows I did, I think I had Sheriff Mack on.
Yeah.
Constitutional sheriff, and
get a sheriff who's not afraid to dig up all the dirt on the mayor and then arrest them on live TV, not play politics, and put the fear of God. Put the fear of God into them. I mean, use every single bit of power in that office, lawfully in that office, and you punish wickedness with finality. I mean, like, I don't know what better way to say it other than people know immediately. But the problem is who's watching? Nobody's doing their job, I guess I should say. A lot of people are not doing their job. And in some jurisdictions, if you try to do your job, you're going to get whacked really quickly, because we've seen it happen.
Well, yeah, it's local politics are no different than the politics that go on in Washington, D.C., where you're sat down in a room by, the handlers, we'll call them, right? And they tell you this is what you're going to do. And, you'll get your committee seat or you'll get whatever. And as long as you're a good boy and you tote the narrative and you don't go against the grain of what makes all of us rich off of the backs of the hardworking American people, you can be part of the club. But if you sound the alarm or you try to make change, we will destroy you. Yeah. We will do what we did to Matt Gaetz. We will do what we do, we do to anybody that dissents and starts to tell the truth. Right? Look at what they did to Tulsi Gabbard in the Democrat Party because she stood up against them. Called her a Russian agent, put her on a no-fly list. I mean, they did all kinds of things to her. But now she's no good because she's fighting the deep state and Laura Loomer doesn't like her. Oh, Laura Loomer, we got to listen to what she has to say. Talking about Botox and plastic surgery. Holy shit. You ever see that? You ever see Saul? You know that little thing that rides the bicycle?
Yeah.
She looks exactly like that thing.
That. Yeah.
She does. Want to play a game? No, thank you.
I'll say this. It's easy to talk about the things that need to get done, but I understand this is a job that a lot of people don't want. There is real threat of physical harm to people and their loved ones. So I give respect and slack to those who are in it. All right, FDR, we've all heard it say, to paraphrase it, don't so easily criticize those who throw themselves into the ring. It's one thing to be like an armchair quarterback. It's another thing to be out there and do it. So I understand it's real difficult, but the fact is you're here, you have power, you're made in the image of God. God calls people to do things. You can't just live a life having everything given to you. You have to learn to protect your things. Things come at a cost. And what is it? The tree of liberty is often watered by the blood of tyrants and patriots. Yeah. And so that's just a sobering warning that this life is not going to be a cakewalk. Jesus said you're going to have a lot of trouble in this life. Our hope is in our redeemed relationship with God.
I'll be honest. I'm actually, not to change subjects, I'm actually upset that Trump would even go over to China. Why show them any respect at all? I mean, for God's sakes, they're the biggest terrorists on the planet. You know how many people? You know how many babies they've killed? Females, forced abortions. You know how horrendous they have treated their people. Besides that, they absolutely hate America. Talk about people chanting "Death to America." I mean, you just basically had Xi Jinping basically say America is a declining nation. And they're going to be the next superpower and put us basically underground. You had them say that to Trump's face.
That's what they were told. I mean, you could say that that's what the European banking elite had told them when they formed the Chinese, the communist coup in China. Man. That wasn't organic. That wasn't a Chinese thing. We double-crossed Chiang Kai-shek, or Chiang Kai-shek was double-crossed by Western powers, and Mao Zedong was installed.
Hey, look, right behind me, it's Trump getting interviewed by his buddy, Sean Hannity. You know, the guy that talked a bunch of shit about him in text messages that came out in the Dominion lawsuit? But there he is.
Yeah.
His buddy, Mr. Botox, Hannity. The Karate Man. Sorry. Got distracted.
You good.
Sometimes I look up just to see what's on, and I'm like,
Nothing good.
No, it isn't.
You should just put anime in the background.
I'm not doing that.
Just stay away from the tentacles.
Tommy got killed. Yeah, Tommy got
Yeah,
killed.
you know, no, I don't want to start a war with anybody, America 93. That's my point. I don't want to start a war in Iran. I don't want to start a war in China. What I want to do is decouple from China. I don't want to be reliant on China. I don't want to invite China more into our country to make a $1 trillion investment into our country. I don't want any involvement with China. I don't want to give them the NVIDIA chips. I don't want to give them anything because 9/11 or COVID should be a red fucking flag to everybody. They threatened to cut us off from our critical medication that we need. Does everybody forget that? They hoarded PPE when they knew this was happening, brought it back to their country, sold it to us for outrageous prices. And by the way, Peter Navarro wanted nothing to do with buying any PPE from China. You know who negotiated the deal behind Peter Navarro's back? Jared Kushner. It's right there in that book called Trump Time. Right here, read it. You'll see what a scumbag Jared Kushner is. By the way, Jared Kushner has known Benjamin Netanyahu since he was a child. His father was really good friends with him. Oh, another fun fact for everybody out there. Do you know who helped run Benjamin Netanyahu's political campaign in Israel? Anybody want to guess? Susie Wilds. Huh. Yeah. Yep. Fun fact. Look it up. It's true. I'm sure they're real objective on getting Trump the truth about what was really going on in Iran. Okay.
That's enough for Iran.
Fucking clown world that we live in with all these people smoking opium.
Carl, I was going to ask you, that thing you showed yesterday with Ken Berry, was there anything more to that? Like, I mean, I know we got talking off.
That was a whole.
I didn't know why you showed it.
Well, the reason I showed it is because he goes into if you watch the whole thing, and you can find it on YouTube. It's just look up. Was it Meat Stock 2026? That's one of the first things that pop up. But he basically goes into, a lot of illnesses that we have, like created by our diet, diabetes and stuff like that, can be eradicated by moving towards a heavier protein-based diet.
Yeah.
Right? Organic, heavier protein-based diet.
Yeah.
And basically goes into the lie about like the high cholesterol and how it's going to kill you with the eggs. And he does a really great job, I think, of laying out the benefits of a higher protein based diet in red meat too, not just chicken and poultry.
Yeah, I would actually say too that red meat, since we're hitting that, I would say red meat is probably one of your healthiest meats that anybody can eat. I think it's a superior meat to chicken, turkey. I'm even going to say fish.
But we've been fed in society, in American society, we've been fed that. Hold on, I'm talking. I'll answer. What's the question? That so what would happen if we just cold turkey? I'm not saying cold turkey China, jackass. I'm saying that we should be weaning our way off of China instead of engaging in more business practice with a country that dropped the fucking bioweapon on us and continues to funnel fentanyl into our country. And every time President Trump meets with them, Xi Jinping says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna cut down on fentanyl," but they never do. That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't know how much clearer I can make it. I answered your question. Decouple from China.
Some people are just
slowly. If we have to, do more business with India. Maybe more business with Taiwan. Maybe more business with Vietnam. I don't know. Maybe start to build fucking more factories here.
there are lots of places people can get my cheap stuff.
Philippines is a great place. You know what? They like us. Filipinos, they really like us. I mean, they make great nurses.
Right.
They make great coconuts.
It's just like I answered a question. I've covered this topic like a billion times on, listen, China, I'm sorry. People don't want to hear it. And I know President Trump says Xi Jinping is his good buddy and he admires him. I don't admire him. He dropped a bioweapon on us and helped the Democrats steal the 2020 election. Right? So, no, I don't like him. And I want to bring drugs back to America. We shouldn't rely on foreign countries to make our critical medicines.
Bring drugs back
and we're not bringing them back, dude. We're not. Look it up. Look it up. We're not. We're still relying on it. They could shut us down and we would be fucked. You wouldn't have diabetes medicine. You wouldn't have fucking penicillin. You would have basic shit.
You say it like it's a bad thing.
Well, Jacob, but
when you say it like it's a bad thing, people will figure out really quickly how powerful and I would say even superior natural medicine could be as opposed to these other things.
Yeah, let's talk about it this way. Let's just say, trying to decide it. Fat Americans, no more a diabetes medicine for you. Because the Chinese are always so honest and truthful. Oh, yeah, Mr. President. Oh, I like you too. Yes, I give you all the diabetes medicine you want. Oh, sorry, we have no more. Oh,
let me tell you this, Carl. You might actually make America healthier because people be switching over to carnivore ketogenic diets. They'd be doing liver flushes, coffee enemas, and other things.
No coffee enema talk.
I'm berberine, HCl, and other combination things. They'll be working on their liver, their pancreas, getting out pancreatic flukes, and the other things that are causing the type 2 diabetes. And then they'll be able to manage, or not just manage, but they might be reversing some of these illnesses as shown by what Dr. Ken Berry and many other researchers
all that diabetes
show. It's not going to be fun. I'll say for anybody, these things are not going to be fun, but people have to understand that medications, while they can be life-saving for acute stuff, they have damage long-term because they're toxic. They're toxic and they mask the problem. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I get what you're saying. It will be
devastating.
It will be quite a Band-Aid rip-off. Yeah. It's much better to have people slowly over time build up their strength so that they can wean off of their medications if they choose and get themselves healthier. Because unfortunately, if you do have a medication crisis, there are like any event, there's going to be some casualties because you have a lot of people that have become so dysfunctional that without their medications, especially the psych meds.
You think I don't know that it's killing me?
Well, and the thing is
but at the same time, it keeps me alive.
My point is, America 93, real quick, is
we need to talk.
That we will never cut off our dependence on China because our politicians are in the pockets of China. That's my point, dude. We have had between 2020, or we should have actually started in 2016. We should have started to cut our dependence from Chinese medications and slowly wean ourselves away from it. Even if we pivot more towards India, they can make our medications. But no, what did we do? We continue because our politicians are scumbags who has sold us out with NAFTA and all other types of things to the Chinese Communist Party. That we continue and we never work our way back from it, and inviting them into our country to continue to do business or even glorifying this relationship. No, it's not Trump's fault, but I don't think going over there is really helping it any. I don't think giving them access to NVIDIA chips is actually helping anything. I don't think inviting them to make an investment into the United States is really doing anything. I don't think having their students come over here with H-1B visas and stealing our intellectual technology is doing anything to help us get away from them. That's my point.
Yeah,
I don't think having more Chinese college students coming over here on H-1B visas and infiltrating our technology is helpful. That's all I'm saying.
You know, they're not coming over here for the education. I mean, our education is.
I mean, what did I have a story
is dangerously stupid.
I had a story 3 weeks ago or something where they were smuggling some type of fucking bug into the country that was deadly, E. coli. Smuggling in strains of E. coli.
They have been smuggling all kinds of fungus and et cetera into the United States.
That's just great. Yeah, let's glorify them. Now, I don't want to glorify China, man. Sorry.
You know, it gets even weirder. We're talking about Chinese.
There's always more to it, right? That's what I hear. There's more to it. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Trump is playing 3D chess behind the scenes, and he's actually kicked Xi Jinping's in balls, and when you weren't looking and the cameras were off. Okay. Ask QAnon some more information. Worked out for you in 2020 when Biden was locked up in the basement and Trump was really running things.
Well, that did not look like Biden. I mean, I have to give him that.
Yeah, but he wasn't locked up in the
show
basement.
you some video.
And Hillary Clinton was in Gitmo. Remember, that was another one.
Almost convinced you that
Hillary Clinton is in Gitmo. You don't know what's going on. I have information you don't. Okay. Yeah, you were calling me all these names and giving me shit back then, too, and I was telling you it was all bullshit. And they weren't going to reverse the 2020 election. You're giving me shit back then, too. But I was right.
So, Tony, I was going to say, you know, Carl, last night, whenever I shared with you that that preliminary program that I was working on,
I didn't even get a chance to look at it. I'm going to actually look at it. I was so beat.
So, Tony, I was going to say, reach out to me tomorrow so I can share that one with you too. Because once I get this finished, you know, I'm going to put this out for people to get. It's good information. Everybody needs it. And as always, Carl, you're all the listeners here are going to get special pricing for that when it comes out.
I had the vision of the pliers stuck up somebody's rectum in my head the whole night.
What'd your wife say?
My wife's like, "Why are you looking at that stuff?" I said, "It's Big Tony's fault."
Yeah, it's all my fault. I sent it
to me, and now I've got to go to bed with the vision of pliers crammed up somebody's ass and a whole fucking dildo.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff too, but, you know.
Sunglasses, Ken.
Could be worse.
Buzz
Could be
Lightyear.
corn cob. That reminds me a long time ago.
Oh, no, you didn't stick a corn cob up your ass, did you?
No.
Oh, you said it reminds me a long time ago, and before that you talked about
you didn't let me finish the story.
You know, the old
you didn't
hillbilly
let me start the story. Oh.
Yeah, you know the old hillbilly butt wiper, you know.
You were mentioning the anime stuff that kids were watching. And
it's an old somebody
thought it was funny to put a like an anime hell type of thing together. And I remember we were doing sound for this event, and I was checking the sound in that room, and I just happened to walk in on they were showing some really disturbing stuff, and there was a corn cob. That's all I'll say. And I'll never forget that, because some things you just can't unsee, but it was anime. And
anime corn cob. I could
it was called Anime Hell.
I could only imagine.
And the prizes they gave out to anybody who watched the whole thing, who was able to withstand it. Whew.
You could easily receive an email.
No, anime hell.
No. We don't want to show that stuff. We don't want to show that
I don't
stuff.
want to show. All right. We're going to call it a evening. All right. Did 2 hours. We did 2 hours. All right. Jacob, beyonddetox.com/Killer Carl, promo code Killer Carl 5 or Carl 5. Just Carl 5. And it's reusable. That's the great thing about it, right? So go there, get your supplements, get your red light therapies, which I'm going to be ordering a red light in the near future. So get your hydroxygen. I love that stuff. And book an appointment with Jacob. It's 20 minutes. It's a free consultation. He'll probably talk you into a coffee enema. That's up to you. But it might make you feel better. You know, some people like to stick stuff up their butt. Obviously, we saw last night. And, you know, right. Apparently,
the
anime
thing, none of those.
Yeah, I don't even know.
The funny thing is, none of those pictures were of a coffee enema.
No, I know. What the hell?
Right. Nobody goes to the emergency room from a bad coffee enema. Yeah. They always go because they're sticking hard-boiled eggs and potatoes and whatever strange rodents.
Again, America 93. I did not say just cut off ties with China. Did I ever say that, anybody? No, I said start to decouple away from China, and we should have started doing it. Again, listen, I'm going to say it slow. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We should have started to decouple from China starting in 2000. That's 2016. 2016. And slowly start to decouple from them and maybe move more focus on our medical supplies in India. India for now, maybe even Vietnam possibly, and then start to build them here in what? The great country of America. Slowly. Not just shut the valve off, slowly do it. Right? So that it's a gradual process and we can decouple from them and become more self-reliant, because I don't think we should be reliant on any country. Listen, any country for critical medical supplies or anything else. Do you understand that now? Think I got it. Everybody got that? Did I say it slow enough?
You know, we have great programs too for rehabilitating cognitive function.
Maybe not.
I need
it. Right.
We got great programs, supplements, and other things to help people rebuild their cognitive performance.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to keep your mind elastic, man. When it starts hardening, man,
you got to keep those brain cells moving. All right, so at Beyond Detox, are you streaming on Rumble this Friday?
No. We're gonna be busy. I promise I'm gonna get back into it, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back with a few like important things that I'm still working on. So when I finish the case studies, then we're gonna hit it.
All right, Saturday night, America 93. You better have your ass on here so I can pick on you in person, because it's not so much fun during the chat because I'm distracted because I'm talking about something. I look over and
we need to get more people in the chat on this side, because I can't see anything.
I know you can't see that. Well, I have a bigger audience.
Is that like the Getter stream
on Getter? Yeah, so it's a bigger audience there.
Yeah, I see there's a huge audience on there, but I can't see anything that they're saying.
So
saying about us,
I don't know. I'm not calling you stupid. You're the one that's saying stuff. I'm just said it slower so you didn't hear me properly the first time. I don't know. You know I love you, America 93. Don't be a prick. All right. That's it. BeyondDetox.com /Killer Carl. Iron Bean Coffee. Meraki Medicinal. It's all scrolling there at the bottom, right? Patriot Pouch, USA.com. All great companies. You're going to absolutely love every single one of them because they're all patriots. That's why, right? And none of it's coming from China.
Right.
China. China. I had a very good conversation with X-Ping. He's a really good guy. He's a friend of mine. All right, we're not going there. I'm too tired.
Everybody's his friend.
I
You
know.
didn't know?
And it's good, you know. I mean, I get why he calls him his friend. You know, you don't want to go over there and say, "Yeah, I hate this fucking cocksucking, slant-eyed prick," but I'm going over
Right.
there anyway.
Yeah, he knows that everything he says is going worldwide. Everybody hears it. So, yeah, he's got to be, oh, yeah, Putin, Vladimir Putin. Oh, yeah, my best buddy. We go golfing every weekend, you know.
Yeah, right. I mean, I get it. All right, guys. Big Tony, where can people find you?
You find me on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and pretty much anywhere else. Just search Big Tony Speaks. You will find me. And I actually do come up on Google search, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Just search Big Tony Speaks and hit that follow or subscribe button. And when you do, remember, Big Tony will speak on
just for you, America 93, I got on Jovan Pulitzer for you. You said, hey, you should have this guy on. What did I do? That's how much I love you. I said, all right, let me see what I can do. And I got him on for you, dude, for you. So Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, radio show, Jovan Pulitzer.
How's that for looking after his viewers?
And you know what? I didn't realize this, America 93. He was on Gold Rock. He was on Oak Island.
Oh, dude.
Which is kind of cool because I love that show. I was trying to think back. Did I see him on there? But I had to because I get sucked into every freaking episode of that.
Yeah, I've seen pretty much.
Yeah,
every
he was on
myself.
there. He was treasure hunter too. I didn't realize that. But with that being said, see, obviously I love you, or I would have just said, "Hey, go fuck yourself, dude. I'm not having him on." But I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll reach out. I'll have him on for you, buddy, because I consider you a friend, right? All right. With that being said, Big Tony Speaks. No, you can't. Nobody can talk sense into me, dude. I'm a free-thinking human being. I'm a free-thinking human being. I have my own way of thinking. All right. Hey, Marilyn.
Marilyn says bye.
All right. I'm done. I got to get a shower and stuff anyway and go to bed. All right. With that being said.
Yeah, I thought I smelled something.
Yeah. It's funny. Tyler is in the area and he's like, I'm so close I can smell your armpit. You wanted to get together for breakfast tomorrow, but I can't. I can't do it, dude. I'm busy. But said you should have came around on like a Saturday or a Sunday. I would have gladly bought you breakfast. But with that being said, I'm out, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching my podcast here. Again, hit the follow button on Rumble because we're going to start rebuilding the Rumble channel here and see how long it lasts. We're going to find out. I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody. With anybody,
I hear you, Carl.
Name that rhymes with dildo. And I'm not going to go in your chat and challenge you to a bait and get you all upset, dildo. So I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody by the name of dildo. You can kind of figure that one out, maybe. People are so petty. They really are. They're so fucking petty. Right. It's ridiculous.
They are.
But it's all right. We're back, baby. And
stop while we're ahead.
It's funny because Tyler, on my second channel, Tyler recorded me in the chat and his response. I don't know if he still has. I gotta get it sent to me so that I can put it out there after the midterms, because there's a certain reason we're waiting till then. There's a specific reason,
right?
So, all right, guys. With that being said, we're not going any further than that. God bless. Follow me on Rumble too. If you're following me on Getter and X and Facebook and YouTube, head over to Getter.
Follow him everywhere he is. Follow me everywhere I am. Follow Jacob.
That way, if I get knocked off,
it doesn't
that way, if I
matter.
get knocked off, you can still find me. Right.
Right.
So it's Radio Killer Carl right there. You'll be able to find me that way. Look me up that way. So I just flipped it around a little bit. All right, guys. With that being said, good night. God bless. Thank you, Jacob. It's always a good time when Jacob's on.
I hope that they like it. I mean,
oh, dude, I love it. I don't care if they like it. I love it. It's so much fun. And we'll see Jacob back here Saturday night. No excuses. I don't want to hear that you're studying. That's all bullshit.
Study while you're on the air.
No, do not.
No, that would be great. That would be great. That would be really great. People might actually learn something.
Yeah, right.
Definitely stuff their doctor's not telling them, or whoever their favorite YouTube doctor is.
What's the guy that's the psychiatrist? He's with the wellness company.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm talking about. He's got the glasses. I can't think of him right now.
I got some friends that do not like that company whatsoever.
I could see why, because everything's really overpriced for no reason.
Is it?
It is.
I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff's okay to have for emergency.
All right, dude. Like my methylene blue, it's top quality methylene blue. Like it's all American sourced, pharma grade. They're American. They're. What do you think theirs cost? Those are
the trochees, right? Like the Troscription, the little blocks that you break off.
They have that, and I think they have a tincture too, like this.
I didn't know they had a tincture.
Yeah,
but they're going to do premium pricing for that. The trochees are always more expensive, and now they're starting to add like other things to them, so it's not just methylene blue.
It's like $300, dude.
It's probably because of the size of it. You're going to have it for a while. Yeah.
It's a month's worth.
I have to look at it then, because there's got to be something else to it.
Because this is $30
$30 or $40. Yeah. And our pharmaceutical grade stuff that we use too. I use one in practice, and for myself that has some nano gold and some other things to it, it makes it work a little bit differently, but yeah, even that's only going to cost me about like $40. So
yeah,
and it's all pharma grade. It's pharma grade.
You know what their freaking medical kit cost? That thing's like $400. It's got off-brand ivermectin in it, off-brand hydroxychloroquine. These things are like fucking 20 cents a tablet, dude.
Well, yeah, there's that. I will say this, some people don't necessarily like them, that they've got a huge advertising budget, and they've cornered the market. They're everywhere, and they've sponsored a lot of the different podcasts or shows.
Yeah.
And that, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. I'm glad that this stuff is in people's hands. My concern is everybody's looking for such a quick fix. I'll leave it at this, but everybody's looking for a quick fix. And my experience and then my worry, that's not going to fix the problem. That's an expensive Band-Aid.
Yep. Tony, just to let you know, your camera's been glitching.
Okay. I know, I've seen it.
I wasn't sure if you.
I gotta figure out why it's doing that. It's been doing that for a few days.
Hot?
So I don't think so. No.
Anyways, that's all I was going to say about that.
Unplug it for 30 minutes, then plug it back in. And if it doesn't work, then throw it in the trash.
That's probably what's going to happen. That's probably what's going to happen.
They always tell you that with any appliance or anything. Unplug it for 30 seconds and then just wait and then plug it back in. And it's not going to work because it never fixes it. It never does. All right. With that being said.
Yeah. We don't hate the wellness company. Just
we don't don't hate them. They're just
expensive. Yeah, just expensive. And if you're going to get something expensive, you can do. I think you can do better things with your health. It's too expensive just to be throwing on something that you'll use in emergency or just take daily.
All right, folks, we're calling it quits now because I'll just be here all night and I got to get up and work. All right. Good night. God bless. Stay positive.
Y'all have a great one. I'll give you a call, Jake.